WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 6.
Lawmakers are working hard with a looming deadline, trying to reach a compromise on wages for tipped workers and paid sick leave. It's our top story tonight at 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Sherry Jones has the night off. Changes to the minimum wage for tipped workers has been a central issue for lawmakers since the new legislature was seated last month. Big changes will take effect at midnight unless a bipartisan compromise can be found and then sent to the governor's desk. Our Rachel Ramsey joins us now live from the state capitol where this negotiation is taking place. What's the latest, Rachel?
Hi, Siobhan. Not much has changed since we last spoke. The Earned Sick Time Act is set to take effect tomorrow, and a bill that would change this act remains in the hands of the Senate. House Republicans and Senate Democrats have been negotiating all day, trying to come to a compromise on the bill. Republicans don't want to see small businesses required to offer paid sick leave, but many Democrats don't want to see anything change and want all businesses to offer paid sick leave.
Our bottom line is that the bill should go into effect the way it was originally worded in 2018, and that we don't circumvent the will of the people. And so that is where we stand with the policy. It was wrote with families, it was wrote with business owners, and so we're asking that it stays the way that it is.
Now here's the catch. A bill that changes the state minimum wage requirements that's set to take effect tomorrow has made it to the governor's desk. But that bill is tie-barred to the paid sick time bill, meaning if one fails, they both fail. So until we hear the vote on the paid sick time bill, we won't know for sure if the minimum wage bill actually passed. If they do pass, tipped workers will receive 50% of the state's minimum wage by 2031. If they don't pass, starting tomorrow, tipped workers will make the state's minimum wage. Right now, they make 38% of the state's minimum wage.
We're up against a deadline of midnight. We got to get this done. We have like 12 hours to get this done, probably less than that now. And so we have to reach across the aisle a little further their way, okay? But I'll say this, they're also coming our way too in the conversations. And so I feel optimistic that we'll be able to get something done tonight.
Now, whether this passes or not, the group One Fair Wage is looking to fight any changes that might be voted on with a referendum process, which would bring the vote back to the people. But there are still so many unknowns, including if and when this makes it to the governor's desk, will she even sign it? And, if nothing happens, starting at midnight, the original laws will go into effect. So there's a lot to still happen. Here for you in Lansing, Rachel Ramsey, 6 News.
All right, Rachel, thank you very much for all of that. Well, there is an update tonight in the legal battle over the controversial Line 5 twin oil pipelines. Tribal and environmental groups just lost a court challenge to the proposed tunnel project below the Straits of Mackinac. That project is meant to reduce the risk of a catastrophic oil spill on the Great Lakes. But critics argue that's still not enough and want to shut down Line 5 completely. The Michigan Public Service Commission conditionally approved the project in 2023. The Little Traverse Bay bands of Odawa Indians and the Michigan Environmental Council appealed that approval, claiming the commission was wrong to just review moving the pipelines and should have examined the need for Line 5 as a whole. The Michigan Court of Appeals disagreed. A warning tonight from federal officials has universities across the country reassessing their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, including Michigan State University. Our Zena Issa visited the campus and spoke to students who are concerned about what this could mean for Spartan Nation.
Siobhan, the school is now reviewing its DEI policies to ensure compliance with federal anti-discrimination laws. This review comes after a letter from the Department of Education warning that race-based diversity efforts could lead to federal funding cuts.
Honestly, I really hope we don't follow it because literally I don't understand what's so wrong with diversity. It's really important for people to feel included and safe, especially at a place where we live.
The letter emphasized that Supreme Court rulings prohibit racial preferences in university policies. Now, MSU is instructing deans and department heads to ensure that membership in programs is not restricted based on identity, no preference is given based on identity, and DEI-related opportunities that exclude individuals based on identity are not promoted.
I actually work in a diversity program office in the E-Grid department, and even then, it's still hard to hear that though it may be closed or, shut down or not be funded. It's definitely sad to hear. A lot of minority students come to us and, use our resources, and we try to be as big of an impact as we can be.
Just this month, the university opened a $38 million multicultural center, but with new federal scrutiny, students worry about what comes next.
I really hope that stays the multicultural center, because Black and brown people have been fighting for that for decades, and they finally just got it. And I hope they don't change the name or revert the purpose of that building, because it has a lot of meaning and it has a purpose.
MSU leadership has reassured students that their core values remain unchanged. The university has not issued direct orders to discontinue any DEI-related work, and school officials say they'll also hold virtual town halls to address concerns as MSU leaders continue reviewing the programs. For now, MSU says it remains in full compliance with federal law, but students say they'll be watching closely to see what happens next. Back to you.
Thank you, Zena. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has released her budget for the next fiscal year, and today state, local, and business leaders got together to discuss the details. The Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity held a roundtable event this afternoon at Capital Area Michigan Works in Lansing. The governor's proposed budget includes more than $40 million for vocational services for students with disabilities, more than $7 million to remove barriers to employment, and millions more for apprenticeship programs.
Want to see a budget adopted that has an additional $19 million invested in apprenticeship programs in Michigan. We know that if someone participates and completes a registered apprenticeship, they are on a pathway to a strong middle-class career. And when somebody completes an apprenticeship in Michigan, 1 year after completion, the median wage is $80,700.
The governor's proposed budget is not final yet. It still needs approval from the state legislature. A slate of new bills in the State House would change the way you get called in for jury duty. Under these bills, local level jury boards would be eliminated. Instead, there would be a central state office to set qualifications for jurors and provide local level courts with a randomized list of people available for jury duty. These bills would also make it a state law that someone cannot be excluded for jury duty because of a protected status like race or religion. Also, people would not be disqualified for serving because of a criminal record unless they were convicted of a crime similar to the one being tried. Staying with legislative news, a bill introduced today by a State House Republican would ban the installation of new cell phone antennas near school buildings. The bill would not require schools to remove any existing antennas, but it would ban the installation of new 4G and 5G cell phone antennas within 1,500 feet of a school building. The legislation does not explain the reason for this proposed ban. The bill has been referred to the State House Committee on Regulatory Reform. February is Black History Month, and today Michigan State University celebrated the 25th anniversary of a lecture series describing the history of Black people in America. It's called the William G. Anderson Lecture Series, Slavery to Freedom, An American Odyssey, in honor of former Spartan professor William Anderson, who was the first Black president of the American Osteopathic Association and a trailblazer for civil rights. The lecture series allows multicultural leaders from education, business, and government to engage with the community. The last lecture in the series will take place at 5 p.m. next Thursday at the Wharton Center.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Overall, a pretty nice day across mid-Michigan. We started off with a couple of very light snow flurries, but since then we have been able to dry things out, and cloud cover is slowly decreasing across the area. But even though we are breaking into at least partly cloudy conditions across the area right now, there's more cloud cover in the forecast overnight tonight. There is a lot of dry and quiet weather across the central portions of the United States this evening, all thanks to two areas of high pressure to our west. These high pressure systems remain in control of our our weather, not only as we go throughout the day on Friday, but also as we go throughout the entire weekend as well. However, you will notice on Precision Cast, even though we are going to be dry, there is still going to be a lot of cloud cover in our forecast. Overnight tonight, widespread cloud cover begins to move in, and then by the time we get into our Friday evening, again, still overall mostly cloudy, but notice if we pause this at 5:30, we start to break apart at least some of that cloud cover to finish off the day with a couple of peaks of sunshine. We'll follow a very similar trend as we move throughout our Saturday with more dry weather in the forecast just in time for Sunday as well. Precipitation chances will start to increase early next week as we move into a somewhat more active weather pattern across the area. Still questionable timing with two systems that we are tracking, whether one's going to move in on Monday and Tuesday or the Tuesday and Wednesday time frame. Either way, regardless of when these systems move in, they are going to be bringing an incredibly warm air mass into the area with high temperatures early next week, not only in the upper 30s, but we also did improve to add in a few high temperatures near 40 degrees as well. So even though we do have a lot of warm weather in the forecast next week, unfortunately it is going to come along with a few chances for precipitation. Outside right now, beautiful sunset over here in the city of Lansing with mostly cloudy conditions. Temperature-wise, still feeling fairly chilly. We're at 24 degrees, winds at 10 miles per hour out of the west-northwest. That drops our feels-like temperatures right back down into the mid-teens. Similar situation in Grand Ledge, couple of breaks in between the cloud cover. We made it up to a high of 26 degrees for our Thursday, currently sitting at 25. Winds overall generally fairly calm across the area, only gusting up to 14 miles per hour. In Jackson, we're at 24, currently feeling like 15 degrees. And our final stop in the city of Hillsdale, drying things out, but cloud cover still in place over here. Winds as high as 36 miles per hour today. Your current and high temperature both at 24 degrees. As we go throughout the rest of the night, that cloud cover returns to the area. Temperatures falling right back down into the low teens, but wind chills will be in the single digits both tomorrow morning and also as we start off our Saturday, but they will be above zero nonetheless. We continue to warm things up as we go throughout the rest of the weekend, above freezing on Sunday. Again, those 2 days with high temperatures in the 40s will come along with either the chance for a rain and snow mix or just plain rain showers. We do cool things down later next week, but overall highs still above freezing.
Either way, just find time to get out and enjoy.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Kendall. The question of bringing state workers back into Lansing offices has become part of the race for governor. Those details for you coming up next. You're watching 6 News at 6.